All righty, folks. I have to ask the hard questions. I have to ask Taylor from Life Goal Investments one simple question. Is the next Fed rate move higher or lower? What do you think, Taylor?
Woo, woo. The next rate move is not coming for an extended period of time. But with that, and for the record, this is not new for me. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. You and I have both been on the fact of like when there was 6 and 7 rate cuts, we're like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah, what are you smoking?
You're crazy. The next rate move is lower. I
Okay.
just think there's I'm on board with you. I think there is too much information that's going to flow through on the rent front that is going to bring down owner equivalent rent. I'm shocked that it hasn't come down yet. But commodities are up this year.
Yeah.
And did you see India's GDP print?
I did.
8.4%.
It was so big, I thought it was a mistake.
I was like, I mean, you're talking about a country with 1.3 billion people. A lot of them don't have electricity at this point. An emerging middle class, people getting vehicles, people needing energy, all of this stuff, and their economy is humming. And I think
8%.
Absurd. And so I get the other big importer of oil is China and Europe. And Europe is having their economic struggles. And so is China. But China very well could be in the trough of things. And they could be coming out the other side of the trough of things.
I don't think China.
I know it's not a comfortable popular topic to talk about. But right now, everybody and their brother is like, I want the hell out of China. I want the furthest thing away from China. And usually that's when things start to, moderate some.
Oh, so okay. So you're looking at it from a stock market analysis and maybe buying things cheap. I was looking at it the economy. Their economy, their consumer, they are still reeling. And something I found out, I think it was 6, might even be 8 quarters ago. All I would tell you to do is watch Starbucks earnings because they always talk about China. Yep. And for the last 8 quarters, Starbucks has been the tell on China, whether you like it or not. Go back and look at it. So again, if you want to know if China's at a bottom from a consumer, for me, it's very simple. Watch Starbucks and what they report for coffee and tea sales or whatever they're selling there. So pretty wild. So
yeah. At the end of the day, you have commodity prices moving higher, which is a higher for longer interest rate scenario. Yep. You have consumer incomes that looked really, really healthy for the month of January.
Yeah, on a real basis, not even nominal, on a real 1% basis.
Real. Yeah. And I said in a video, I was like, just for context, this would mean if this perpetuated moving forward, 12% annual income growth after inflation. So that's a 15% wage hike for the average American. That's massive. And granted, listen, that's
not happening.
Unlikely to play out. Right. Exactly. But the other part of it is like, if people are getting paid more, we know we have the tendency to spend, and spending was down for January. But that being said, does that perpetuate? Not if we continue to get paid more. We're Americans and we spend. So,
and let's also just add on to that. Again, a lot of us have been lucky enough to fix our cost on our most expensive debt, and that's housing.
Where you live.
So again, if you have real wage growth and your costs are fixed at a stupid low rate because you got lucky on timing, your disposable income goes up that full percent.
Yep.
So
wild. No doubt about it.
So the next move is down. I'm guessing you think sometime summer?
I think fall.
Oh, you're going fall.
I think the Fed is very, very cautious. They've made mistakes. And here's the point, the problem with my thesis of being in the fall. It also then backs them right up against an election cycle.
Yeah, see, I've been studying the Fed for a long time. And I'd put $1,000 on this bet. I'm not going to do that, so don't reach out to me, people. But I'm just telling you,
I'll take it.
I have some confidence. If they get to September and there's been no rate cuts so far, they will not cut in September unless it's all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah.
Because Everything I've read about the Fed going back 50 some odd years, they do not want to be seen as political. They don't want to swing one way or the other. I believe that. Now, I'm wrong all the time. Maybe they'll cut in October to give Biden the election. Who knows? But if their first rate cut, if they get to September, my guess is they wait all year.
See, yeah, it's interesting because I actually think, and maybe this, I'll get crushed for this. I actually think that Jerome Powell is pretty apolitical. I think
I
he's
think so.
done a pretty darn good job staying in the middle, not giving a crap what both sides have said to him. His mandate is to stay apolitical. Trump appointed him, right,
Yeah,
at the beginning. So,
yeah.
if he were to cut interest rates, he could be said now he's Biden's guy. He got put in office by Trump on the other side. So I do think there's some outs for him there that would allow him
Well,
to be more cautious on the front end. And my last
let's
point,
be
I'll let you
very
go.
clear.
Sorry.
Let's be very clear about
But
Paul. Powell. Powell is already rich.
yep.
Powell is not running for reelection or reappointment or whatever. This is
Right.
it. This is his term and he's done. He
Yep.
gives a rat's ass about either of those guys. He
Yep.
is playing for his legacy.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he's not going to step in the middle of that, I don't think.
And so does we were talking about pendulums on the last one.
Mhm.
Does the pendulum swing back where he realizes he was too cautious on the front end of raising interest rates, and then he says, "Hey, I'm willing to make more of a snap judgment impact here and cut them more quickly," or is it, hey, he just has a tendency to be more cautious, and more cautious would be letting it kind of settle in and cutting rates a little further down the line?
I actually where I go in all of this is I think he's going to tinker in July. I just think he looks at the calendar and goes, the data's getting a little soft. I won't cut in September because of the election. A quarter point means nothing. It's not going to fix anything. But
Yep.
I think he's going to go a quarter in July and then do a quarter in December
Yep.
is where I think he's going.
How much do you think that the financial markets weigh on things?
Oh, I think he looks at it as validation. I think the Fed has a third mandate, unspoken, which is the financial markets. Not that financial markets price, but functioning,
Yep.
right? And I think the S&P at an all-time high gives him reason to pause, right? I think the Jack
Reason to pause on cuts. Is that what your
Yeah,
point is?
yeah,
Yeah,
he can delay.
correct.
He can
I
delay.
tend to
So
agree with that. And what is the ultimate speculative asset?
would that be Bitcoin racing at 65,000? Are we going there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's reality, right? I mean, if you're
Yeah,
looking for the most speculative asset, it is Bitcoin. Nothing right, wrong, or indifferent against
yeah,
it. But
it's ripping.
the point of that is Bitcoin is ripping is an understatement. And if you look at just, hey, the market is right now squabbling with the fact that our interest rates coming down more quickly. Is it going to be more in time? A rate cut does likely send things higher than, or at least relative to them not being cut, to state the obvious.
Well, let's ask this final question, and we'll get on to a fourth video that I want to ask. What are the chances from 0 to 100 that the first rate cut is December of 2024 or later? On your mind, just a wild guess.
Definitely nowhere near zero. I think so. This is obviously my higher for longer stance. I think that's about a third of a chance that it doesn't happen until way out there.
Yeah, I would go 20%. That's where my mind was because again, I've come to this during this discussion. He cuts in July for quarter point, or he doesn't until December. So I guess I'm 80-20. 80% cut July, 20% December. I guess that's where
So
I'm at.
so like let's hypothetically say they don't do it in July. They're like, oh baby, please, please, please have this economy not fall off an absolute map right now.
Yeah, it's together.
Yeah.
Oh man,
gosh,
where can
that's
people
awesome.
find you?
Yeah, follow us at Life Goal Investments, like 60-second videos every day on Instagram and on TikTok.
I am shocked at how much value you can slam into 60 seconds. Just
You're the man.
consistent.
Keep the lies going. Keep the lies coming. Come on.
Folks, go check it out. You tell me if I'm lying. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much, Michael.